Yes guys, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video. Hope you guys are all having a great week and looking forward to the weekend. Friday tomorrow when Newcastle play their first of two friendly games in a row. We play Atlanta tomorrow night, then play Atletico Bilbao on Saturday. I will be at both games. I'll have videos for both games, so be sure to keep your eye out for them. Let me know down below, are you heading to either of the friendlies? It's going to be a quick turnaround. Friday night, Saturday 3 o'clock. It'll be interesting to see what team lineups we go with going into that game. I would like to see at some point, possibly on the Saturday, the 11 that we are going to start with against Nottingham Forest. I know that Eddie Howe wants to get everyone involved. We saw Bonswell get involved in the Benfica game the other night. How good was he? He was brilliant. We've seen Byrne and Botman. We've seen Botman Shaw. We've seen Shaw Byrne. Who are we going to go with on Saturday? Or is Eddie Howe going to keep everyone guessing all the way until next week against Nottingham Forest? Who knows? But I think with two games back to back, it might be asking... I don't know, is it asking too much to see our first 11 before we play our first game? I think what he wants to do is make use of the whole squad. We could have played 11 players all pre-season and then got to the start of the season and turned around and gone, well, what about him, what about him, what about him? I'm thinking Eddie Howe is trying to basically have a team that in theory can play anyone at any time and it'll always work. Now, unfortunately, we don't have a Man City squad. We don't have 25 fantastic players who are all as good as the next. We do have players that are better than the others. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how we get on. And one player that I'm very interested to see what we do with this weekend in the friendly games, and will he start against Nottingham Forest, is Miguel Almirón. Miggy, for me, I think has had the best pre-season of all of our players. Let me know down below if you agree with that, if you disagree with that. I just think that a player, for me, who I have criticised in the past, I criticised him throughout last season, I criticised him this summer, and I am eating my words right now, and I'm glad I am. I'm glad he's gone out there and proved me wrong. You guys have been telling me for a while that there is a player in there, and he's finally started to show it. Now, don't get me wrong, work rate is fantastic, possibly has the best work rate in the squad, if not for Matt Ritchie, but he's well up there. He really tries hard, he gets back, he defends. It's numbers, it's numbers, and that's why we have been linked with a new right winger this summer window. We've spoken about this on the channel before. Callum Wilson, top goal scorer. Bruno comes in the summer and gets 5. I think St. Max got 5 as well. Behind that, Almiron specifically got 1 goal and 0 assists, which isn't enough. It's not enough for a forward player. But has he turned on the switch? Has he started having a different breakfast in the morning? Because for whatever reason, he has been on fire this pre-season. We saw him score 2 goals against Benfica earlier in the week, both of which were great finishes. The second one, I called it Messi-esque. I've heard people call it Mata-esque, and I'm not comparing him to Messi, don't get us wrong. But the way he almost uses the defender to cover the sight of the goalie as he slips it into the bottom corner, don't get me wrong, that was a good goal. But I was actually more impressed with the first goal, because Almiron, again, is a player who will track back, will defend, but what I want him to do is be direct. I want him to pick up the ball, run down that wing, get the shot off, get the cross in. He picks it up in the middle and hammers it towards the goal, pretty much from the halfway line to the edge of the box, where he sprays it out wide to Trippier. Trippier gets it back in, and Miggy has a very tidy finish at the back of the net. But it was, if anything, the finish was great. The goal was great, but it's him picking the ball up and running at goal. Having that confidence to pick it up and actually try and make something of it. Not pass it back, not pass it sideways. You know, we saw him score that fantastic goal against Crystal Palace last season. I just want to see him getting in those positions more often and doing it more. We saw him get 2 goals against Burnley last weekend when we won 9-2. That was a weird one because there was 4 quarters, but still he scored 2 goals. Brilliant to see him getting involved in that one as well. I remember back against Gateshead in the first pre-season game behind closed doors, he scored 2 goals. I know it was against Gateshead. I know they are a lower league opposition, but he scored 2 goals. And that was still double what he scored all of last season. And then he's gone on throughout this pre-season and got better and better with every game. I honestly think he was the standout in that Benfica game. So good for that 45 minutes. He was only on the field 45 minutes. He was definitely the difference in those 45 minutes for us. You know, I thought they had the better first half, but thanks to Miggy, we were able to put the ball in the back of the net twice. Eddie Howe himself said that he believes Almiron had a really good evening, and I was actually disappointed to see him come off at half-time. I would have liked to have seen him continue that confidence and play on a little bit longer, which does bring me back to the start of this video where I said it'll be very interesting to see what Eddie Howe does with the 2 pre-season friendly games. Friday night against Atalanta, Saturday against Athletic Bilbao, because he's going to have to mix it up. But I would like to see some of these players who have been performing well get that little bit of extra time. We'll have to see how we get on. But it's raising the question, and Eddie Howe has come out and said himself that he believes Almiron had a really good evening against Benfica. Is Almiron going to change Eddie's mind? Because one of the things that Eddie Howe wanted to do this summer, and we are still trying to do, is bring in a new right winger. This is a really interesting one for me because, as I've mentioned, I have been critical of him in the past, and not because of his work rate or even him as a player. I've always thought he's been a very good player, but he hasn't been getting the numbers. And when you've got Callum Wilson, top goal scorer with 8, you know, Bruno with 5, who came in late in the season, we need more goals. That's why we're looking for a striker and a right winger. But has Almiron proved me wrong? Has he proved some fans wrong? Has he proved Eddie Howe wrong? Do we need to go out and buy a right winger? Or has Almiron shown us this pre-season that he can be the man who puts the ball in the back of the net? I'm not going to lie, I'm turning to Team Almiron here because he has been so good this pre-season. Does that mean that I don't think we should go out and buy a right winger? No, I think we still need competition, but I'm interested to hear from you guys as well. What has brought this on? What has changed in his game, or what has changed in the way Newcastle play to suddenly see him putting the ball in the net far more frequently? I think to start things off, I thought it was for the reason that I've already mentioned, which is trying to prove that he is the man for the job. It has been widely publicised that Newcastle are looking for a right winger. That's his position. You know, he's already in there. He's already in that position. He needs to prove to Eddie that he, first of all, doesn't need a new right winger. And then, if he does bring one in, prove that he is better than, or he should keep his place. So we've not even brought anyone in yet, and it's already created that competition, that fire. That's why competition is what you need. That's why you need to bring in players to challenge other players for a position. We've not even brought in a right winger yet, and I feel like Miggy is already saying, I'm the man for the job. You don't need to bring anyone in. And also, it'll be very interesting to see how we play this season generally, and whether Almiron can benefit from that, because let's be honest, I am judging him on a full season's worth of games, but really, we only started playing in January, didn't we? We only had a half season, if we're being honest. The first half of that season, he was spent stood next to Crafty down in the right back position, just trying to kick the ball away, and then even when we kind of changed over into the second half of the season, Eddie Howe was still trying to get the lads to play in his way, and let's be honest, still did a lot of defending. As we came into the end of the season, we saw Newcastle have a lot more of the ball, a lot more possession, were happily passing it around the back and trying to get the ball up the wings a lot more. That's certainly something I have seen in pre-season, is far more use of the wing positions, trying to get the ball into that final third. And as we progress into the new season, that's something that I'm hoping to see a lot more of. A lot more of the ball and a lot more chances to attack. Is the fact that we are far more defensively sound because we have a lot more of the ball. Almiron has less defensive duties, and that's allowing him to spend more time at the top of the pitch, is getting more of the ball, and is now getting more chances to put the ball in the net. I think it's a bit of everything, to be honest. I do. I think that there has been a fire lifted underneath him because of the links to a right winger, and I think we are playing more expansive football, believe it or not. I know, it's weird, isn't it? We have the ball for a change. What's going on? And I'm looking forward to see how we get on in this season. But to answer that big question, let me know your thoughts down below. Can Almiron be the man for the next season, or do we need to bring in a right winger? For me, we still need to bring in a right winger. I've just talked Almiron up hugely, and I'm so impressed with how he's done this pre-season, and I really hope he can continue that throughout the entire of this upcoming season. But I think we still need to strengthen generally in that position. Aside from Almiron, Murphy hasn't had the greatest of pre-seasons. I think Fraser's looked okay. I think St. Max looks good when he wants to. I don't know if that sounds harsh. I think St. Max is an unbelievable talent, and when the ball's at his feet, he looks brilliant. It's when he doesn't have the ball as whether he looks like he fancies playing or not. And I know I'm talking about left and right wing, but generally players in those positions can obviously swap back and forth, whether you want to cut inside or go wide. We've pretty much got two inverted wingers, haven't we? Because St. Max likes to cut in on his right from the left. Almiron likes to cut in on the left from the right on his left. But really they could swap, and they could do it a little bit differently. I still think that's a position we need to strengthen generally, and I've spoken about the fact that I believe Miggy is upping his game because the position is under threat this window. If we don't sign anyone, will that fire dampen again because there's nobody challenging for his position? I think that's a position that just generally needs a little bit of strengthening, and Almiron has created more competition in that position than it possibly would have had he not really pushed himself this pre-season. But as a Newcastle fan, it's brilliant. It's all brilliant. It's great to see him doing so well, and hopefully if we bring in another player, that will help challenge it even further. And it's the same with the strikers, you know. Wilson has been a little bit quiet this pre-season. He knows how to get into a position. He knows how to put the ball in the net, and I am not worried about him going into this new season. And I'll repeat it. If we could have a guarantee that Wilson didn't get injured, I don't think I'd be that bothered about a striker. To be fair, if you could give me a guarantee that Miggy will score 10 goals this season, or even just play the way he's been playing throughout this whole pre-season, then maybe we wouldn't need a right winger either. But you cannot guarantee these things, and there's a lot of games, especially with this World Cup season where we're going to have a month out and they're going to try and cram all the games in together. We need a stronger squad than we have currently, so I think we still need to go out and spend this summer window. But let me know your thoughts down below. If Almiron continues the way he's playing, do you think it's essential we go out and buy a right winger, or could we look at other positions to maybe strengthen this summer window? Let me know your thoughts down below. As always, drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you're still watching now right till the end of the video and you haven't hit that big red button, please do so. It really helps the channel. I will be at both of the pre-season friendlies this weekend. There will be videos for both of them, so be sure to hit those notifications as well. Make sure you do not miss a video when it's posted. One will be Friday night, and then the other will be Saturday evening after both of the games. Alright guys, thanks for watching as always. Drop a like, let me know your thoughts on Almiron down in the comments, and I'll catch you later.